Hari Om, this is Radhe and Rishi here again for another yoga class. So to begin with, just setting yourself up in a comfortable position. You can lie down or sit for the few minutes at the beginning. That's totally up to you. Making yourself comfortable, you can use mudra with the thumb and forefinger linked in a circle if you wish to, palms down or palms up on the lap or the knees if you are sitting, or on the floor, palms up if you are lying down. Eyes gently closed throughout. Feel the whole body beginning to settle into the position that you've chosen. If you're sitting or lying, the spine needs to be straight and long. Head and neck comfortable, so the chin is slightly tucked into the center. No cramping in the back of the neck, no tension in the base of the skull or the back of the head anywhere. Eyes gently closed throughout. Keep watching the breath for a few minutes now, allowing the breath to take you further inward, getting into more of an internalized frame for your practice of yoga, yet still with contact with the senses. Feel the breath coming in through the nostrils, flowing down into the bottom of the lungs. Also feel the abdomen expand, then the chest. As you breathe out, feel the breath going back out the opposite way, leaving through the nostrils, chest relaxing inwards, then the abdomen relaxing inwards. Whole body becoming more settled and relaxed with each outgoing breath. Developing relaxed awareness. Continue watching the breath, each and every in and out breath. In breath, gentle expansion. Out breath, gentle relaxation. Softening into your position, but still maintaining good posture. Steady and straight. When you next breathe out, leave watching the breath, let it flow without taking note of it anymore. Feel the whole body sitting or lying, whole body, whole body, whole body. And we're going to come to sitting with the legs out in front. And first of all, we're going to do the wrist rotation exercise, and then we're going to do ankle rotation. So although I'll leave the camera on the same setting, in the same position, you will be able to follow how to do ankle rotations quite easily, as it's similar to what we do for the wrists. So taking the arms out to the front, make loose fists of the hands. And then slowly 5 rotations one way, just with relaxed breath, unless you want to go extra slow, and then you could do an in and out breath for each circle. And it doesn't have to be exactly 5, that's just a guideline. And of course 5 the other way. Perhaps I've done a bit more than what Rishi did, or I've gone extra slow while I'm talking. And whenever you've finished, of course, you take the few moments just to be aware of the body and the breath and the effect of what you have just done. So now we'll do similar for the ankles. You can either sit with the legs out and the hands on top of the legs, or the hands gently on the floor beside the hips, or you can lean back slightly if you need to. And I'm just going to have the hands resting on the top of the legs. So we'll use the breath for this and try and go slower than for the wrists. Breathing in, draw the feet towards you a little bit so the heels are pushed away, toes towards you. Relax that forward a little bit, and as you breathe out, go into the centre, starting to make a circle with the toes across the floor at the front and up the other side, breathing in, out as you go into the centre and down, and in as you come up the sides to the top again. 3 more that way, and then 5 the opposite way, totally in your own time. You can always do a few more if you know that you're going quicker, or you can always do a few less if that's how you feel. 5 each way, approximately. And whenever you're finished, still sitting nice and tall, feel into the ankles, feet, legs, hands, wrists, arms. All of those have worked gently with those last 2 exercises. And now we're going to come up to standing, and we're going to do a full version of waist rotating pose. We're going to do versions 2 and the version 1, which is actually easier than 2. So coming up to standing, and I will film Rishi so that you can see what he's doing. So standing with the feet apart, parallel, which means the toes are in a little bit. So toes in slightly, arms out to the sides, arms out at the sides, and stretch through to the fingertips. And we're going to be swinging around and wrapping the arms around the body on the out breath. So breathing in at the centre, out, twisting to one side, turn the head gently, wrap the arms against the body, in back to the centre, out, swinging to the other side, continue with another 4 to each side, flowing with the breath. The out breath helps to empty the lungs as you twist around. It's helping get that breath out. In breath, coming in with the stretching to the front. And of course with this one, once again, you might have already finished or you might still be going, but whenever you do finish, just stop, arms relaxed, and watch the breath. I'm going to keep the feet in the same position. The next one involves bending forward to stretch and move in the waist. So interlock the hands in front of the body, and then breathing in, take them up the body, turning the palms towards the ceiling as you go past the chest. And then breathing out, you're going to bend forward from the hips or the waist, but more from the hips and bottoms of the legs, just straight. So come parallel to the floor, stretching the arms out, parallel to the floor. And then swinging from side to side. I'll do this one as well. And you swing around on the out breath, in to the centre, out to the other side, into the centre. I'm looking up at the camera, but really you'd be looking at the back of your hands, out to the other side, into the centre, out to the other side. Let's keep going for a little while, and it can be 5 times each side, can be a bit more or even less. And you can feel a stretch in the far side of the waist from where the hands have gone, contraction in the other side. And when you think you've done the same number to each side, we're going to come back to the centre, breathing in and up. And then breathing out, slowly lowering those hands, turning them as they go past the chest. And relax the arms at the sides and feel a breath. Breath might have been a little bit stimulated by doing that. Just let it gradually settle. And now we're going to do a basic triangle pose, trikonasana. So have the feet a full leg length apart. Turn one foot out to the side, as hopefully you'll be able to see Rishi is doing here, if I ever get the camera right. Stretch the arms out to the sides. And because Rishi's got his right foot turned out, he's going to be going over to the right side. So with this, you do have to have the feet full leg length apart at least. And if you are a lot more flexible than some of the rest of us, then you might have to have the feet a bit wider apart. And the back foot turns just slightly towards the front one, not too far around. Okay, breathing in, stretching those arms out. And then as you breathe out, go over to the side, placing the hand either on the leg, on the foot, on the floor, either side of the leg. And with this one, breathing once you're there, of course, you can either turn the head up to look at the top hand. Good twist in the neck, that's the full pose. You can turn it to look forward the way the chest goes. That's a little bit easy, but good. Got to make sure you don't drop the ear down towards that bottom shoulder, head centered. Or you can turn the head to look down. Doing about 12 breaths. And this one can be done with the foot and leg a bit closer and with the knee a bit bent. If it's hard for you, you can even lean with the elbow on the thigh. Okay, coming up and relaxing the breath while you turn the feet the other way. And breathing in, stretching the arms out to the sides. And then out when you're ready to, going over. And with this one, you will find that it does feel different on each side. Often because of different flexibility in the hips and the hamstrings. Could be all sorts of reasons. Smooth breathing, trying to keep that head centered between the shoulders, whichever way it's turned. And as I said, with the feet, make sure that you are stretching the legs if you can, but you can have the knee a bit bent and you can be a bit easier on the foot if the knee's a little bit bent too. Back foot has to work as well as the front foot. And of course, once you finish, gently coming up, lowering those arms. Okay, we'll have a little go at virabhadrasana 2, which is warrior 2. So with this one, you don't necessarily have to hold for a full 12 breaths. And of course, you could have been holding for longer if there's gaps in between where you can fit a bit more in. But you can hold for a lot less. Warrior is a bit harder than the last one, I think. So the feet have to actually go wider apart. They should be further than leg length apart because you're going to be bending the knee on the side you're going to, which means that you do need to make sure the knee doesn't go past the ankle because you don't want to overextend the front of the knee. Okay, breathing in, arms go out to the sides as before. You're just going to drop the pelvis, bend that right knee if you're going to the right, breathing out. Head turned to look that way and just keep watching the breath, making sure that you are breathing fully and trying to gradually drop that pelvic area lower by bending the knee a bit more and eventually getting a right angle between the thigh and the shin. If you find you're going way past the ankle with the knee, your feet aren't wide enough. And of course, gently to the other side too when you're ready, taking a breath in between if you need to. Make sure the legs are full leg length apart. And then again, breathing in, arms go out to the sides. Breathing out, dropping that pelvis down, bending the knee. Back arm up the same height as the front. Breathing smoothly. Try not to angle the head, just turn the head. Smooth breathing, working that front thigh. And also making sure that you are stretching the back leg. Back edge of this back foot should be right, aiming for the floor. Leg really strong. Same amount of breaths as on the other side, and then gently out. Okay, let the breath go, let it flow naturally. Close the eyes for a moment or two. Standing steady, feet just a comfortable distance apart, don't need to be wide. Feeling the breath and recovering from those last two postures. Although I should say that with these postures, you just do less. If you find that you need too much recovery time, you can reduce the amount of holding. Perhaps just go gently in and out a few times instead of holding. Feel the whole body, spine straight, arms relaxed, shoulders back and down. And of course straight through the legs, but you don't have to be locked in the knees. Thighs at the front a little bit contracted to draw the kneecaps up, but not so much so that you overstretch the back of the knees. Standing tall. And we're going to go on to salute to the sun. And with salute to the sun, there's all sorts of ways you can do it. I think I said that in the last video. So you might have your own particular way. Now, this time Rishi's going to be dropping down from the first mountain or dog down stretch into knees to the floor. And also when you're in the lunge, you can just move the arms back alongside the hips for a moment, or you can keep them up at the front by the feet. So there's lots of variations. So standing nice and steady with the eyes closed, and of course hands in prayer pose, watching the breath as if you're breathing in and out through the center of the chest, through to the cardiac plexus, expanding the heart center space, Hridayakash, out through the center of the chest at the sternum, relaxing the whole heart center space, including heart and lungs. And whenever you are ready to, you're going to move into 3 rounds. Keeping the breath flowing with the movement, even if you need a few extra breaths here and there, be aware of breathing when you do it. Awareness with coordinating the breath and the movement. If you lose track of which lunge you're up to, don't be too concerned, because you'll do approximately the same number by the time you've got to the end of the 3 rounds. If you end up doing a little bit less and relaxing, or something alternative altogether, then that is totally fine. might find that you're going a lot more quickly and you end up doing 4 or 5 rounds. That's totally fine as well. Always fit it in for yourself according to how you're feeling at any particular time on any particular day. When you finish, just a few breaths with the hands in the prayer pose. And then lying down on the back in Shavasana to totally relax. Whole body relaxing, head to toe, and letting the breath gradually slow down in its own time. You will find that it takes anything up to 2.5 or 3 minutes for the breath to return to a normal rhythm, a normal relaxed rhythm, and it could be that it even takes longer. You just watch the rise and fall of the navel rising on the in-breath, navel lowering on the out-breath. Let the breath and the metabolism return to a more normal rhythm in its own time. No controlling, no forcing. Simply watching the breath and letting go on the out-breath. Keep watching. In a few moments, I'm going to ask you to move into universal spinal twist, which in itself is quite a relaxed pose. If there's no pushing to go further in it, you can relax the breath more while you do that. So being aware of the whole body and bringing the legs together, straight out in front. Legs together and straight out in front. Straight, yep, that's it. And taking the right arm up on the floor, perhaps shoulder height or a bit higher. Bend the right leg, step the foot over onto the outside of the left leg. Roll up onto that left hip. Use the left hand to draw that right knee across towards the floor. So using the left hand on the knee, turning the head to the right. Adjust that right arm if it's in the way of your face or just not comfortable for the armpit. Close the eyes. Let's use Ajna, eyebrow center awareness. Breathing in through the eyebrow center, 1, silently. Out through the eyebrow center, Om, or just relax the awareness out. And keep counting the breath until you've done 12 breaths on the side. Gradually drawing the knee over a bit further if you wish to. But it will happen anyway the longer that you stay there as you relax into the twist. And make sure you're not lifting the right shoulder over as you twist. If you are, then you have to bring the knee back a little bit. Counting the breath for yourselves. And whenever you think you've done around about 12, coming back to the centre, straightening the body up again. And then you're going to take the other arm up on the floor, trying to dodge the furniture. Bending that left leg, stepping the foot over, rolling onto the right hip as much as you can, drawing that knee across a bit further with the right hand on top of the leg and turning the head to the left. And the right hand on top of that left leg, you can gently stretch over a bit further. Even if it's just lightly on there, it does add a little bit of oomph to going into the pose, but never push if it's not comfortable. Never force anything. You're counting the breath as you did before, 12 breaths in and out through the eyebrow center. Influencing the master chakra, the pineal gland, Ajna chakra, mind control chakra, which can oversee the other chakras below it. Very good to use for any twists. 12 breaths. If you're still going, stay there. If you've finished, of course, roll back into Shavasana, feet flopped apart, palms up, and letting it go. Now, in our first class, we did bridge pose, Kandarasana, just up and down and holding for a while at the end if you wish to. But this time we're going to try and do it holding around the ankles with the feet a bit wider. So when you're ready to, bending the knees, placing the feet on the floor in front of the buttocks. Now, you lift the feet up if you need to and try and grab around the ankles and then put the feet down. So you can either have the thumb and forefinger slid in against the back of the ankle with the feet a bit wider than normal, or you can hold the actual ankle, and sometimes you have to lift the foot up to get hold and then place the foot back down. And you're going to be pulling against those ankles to try and arch up a bit further. So making sure that you're in a good starting position. Feel free just to do the normal position or posture with the palms down on the floor. Now as you breathe in, start to lift up, arching the trunk. As you breathe out, roll each vertebra down smoothly one by one. This is very good for the pelvic region apart from anything else. And keep going for 5. On the 5th one, hold and watch the breath. Hello, kitty. So whenever you get to your 5th one, you can either keep going with a few more up and down, you can stop and relax if you want to, or you can hold and watch the breath. Anything up to 12 breaths, which is a standard number of breaths that we tend to hold some things for in my 1 1/4 hour classes. I know if you're trying to fit more into 30 minutes or so, you might end up doing a bit less of some things. As you hold, be aware of pushing the pelvis and the hips and the navel up towards the ceiling. You could imagine that there's a rope or a cord linking the navel to the ceiling, and you draw yourself a bit further up by going along this imaginary cord or rope, feeling like it's holding you up almost, but definitely helping you guide yourself up and getting more arch, chest very open, excellent for the breathing, the rib cage. Make sure you're not overstretching the back of the neck though. You can always come down a little bit if the neck feels too stretched. And of course, once you're down, if you want to slide out into Shavasana, you can, or you can keep the legs bent. And just watch the breath for a few breaths. That was a back bend, so of course stimulating for the heart and the lungs, for the cardiac and respiratory systems. Feel breath. Okay, I am going to ask Rishi just to do half shoulder stand as he did last time. It is so good to have an inverted pose in your routine. So we're going to fit that in even though we did it last time. So whenever he's ready to, he's going to make sure he's got room on the mat amongst all the furniture. And then he's going to carefully raise up into half shoulder stand. It's usually done by lying on the back and carefully rolling the legs up. And so he has done that, and he's in the position now. And you'll see that you are supporting hips, waist area, wherever feels right for your balance point, with the hands and the elbows on the floor. So the elbows are taking some weight. There's not a straight up and down angle. It is meant to be slightly sloped off the vertical. If you are vertical, you'd be doing full shoulder stand. This is just half shoulder stand. So legs are slightly sloped over towards the face, so they're past the vertical point. And the trunk has not quite reached the vertical point. It's slightly sloped off the vertical back towards the direction of your mat. Different for everyone's body shapes and everyone's points of balance. We usually hold this for 27 breaths, and I have been getting Rishi in our own classes to hold it with Vishuddhi awareness, base of throat awareness. Entirely up to you whether you use that or not. If you are, you'll be visualizing the breath in through the base of the throat to the base of the neck and back out the opposite way. And Rishi for a moment went over into pose of tranquility, where he placed the hands around on the shins, anywhere between knees and ankles, depending on how far over you are and your length, etc., which means that you take the wrists off the floor. So if you have just done the half shoulder stand, relaxing for a moment or two, usually they say 1 minute with the heart and the head at the same height after an inversion, before you come back up to heart and head round the normal way. We are going to sneak in the extra pose that I left out last time, which we often do as a counter pose. Now, of course, it can be a little bit stimulating because it's a back bend, but we're not holding it for too long. We're going to hold it for 12 breaths at the most. So this is simple fish. So you're out straight, and you get the hands under the buttocks, palms on your mat, backs of the hands against the buttocks, elbows ready to take some weight. Lift up the head and the trunk, stretch the front of the body, arch back, and gently place the top of the head or the back of the head by the crown down on the mat. And let's watch this at heart center space, as we haven't done that visualization specifically. In through the center of the chest to the spine, back out again. Same as what we did at the beginning of Salute to the Sun. Always nice to use heart center space once or twice during a practice. If you feel like you're starting to sag or slide away with the head, you can lift up off the floor and get some more stretch in the front, more bend in the back, thoracic and neck, not just the neck. Thoracic has to be in this as well. Just bending the neck would be too much for the neck. Thoracic spine must be working. And once you're down, gently sliding down, and of course sliding those hands out. Feel the breath. We're not sitting straight up because that was a back bend and a bit stimulating, but such a good counter pose for the half shoulder stand. Or of course, if you've done plough, full shoulder stand, any variations on those, you'd want to do a counter pose for even longer. So being aware of the whole body, and we're just going to sit up and watch the breath for a few moments and do our 3 OMs to conclude. So being aware of the body when you're ready to, sitting up, making yourself comfortable, whole body tall, close the eyes. We'll just watch the inverted V-shaped breath for a few moments, and then the Chirakash, the inner space. So watching the breath in and out through the nostrils, making an upside down V shape in through the 2 nostrils. Feel that energy point at the eyebrow center where the breath meets. It will go further, but we're holding our awareness there. And then when the breath comes back out, flow the awareness back out through the nostrils. When you next breathe out, let go of that inverted V-shaped breath awareness. Take your awareness in behind the eyebrow center, in behind the inside of the forehead, witnessing and watching, observing your own infinite internal mind space. See the darkness, become comfortable in the darkness. This is like your own little meditation room. You can see thoughts come and go, you can see pictures, images, even geometric designs like yantras will sometimes come. Might even have sounds that seem to come. Just be the observer. Let the thoughts come, let them go, let the light, the flickering in the darkness happen, let the colours happen. Whatever's there, be the observer. Keep observing. And now gently letting go of the Chirakash. Sometimes it's quite difficult to draw yourself away from that, to withdraw from it, but try to come back out to the base of the nostrils. Here you'll feel that the air is cool when it goes in, warm when it leaves. Feel the cool air entering the nostrils. Feel the warmer air leaving the nostrils. Feel the air touching the inside of the body wherever it goes. Might be the roof and back of the mouth, the throat, the lungs, of course. Feel the body expanding gently with the in-breath, even though you're not making extra deep breaths, unless that's happened naturally. Feel that the body expands on the in-breath, and feel that the body draws inwards in a relaxed way on the out-breath. Be aware of the outside edge of the body, almost seeing your shape and your aura, the energy around you, feeling the contact of your hair on the skin, of your clothing on the skin, of your body against your mat or the floor where it's sitting. Any contact of the air that's touching you on the outside, and see beyond that as well. Feel as if you can visualize yourself in the space that you're in, the room that you're in, the building, and the general environment that you're in. Hear any outside sounds that might be easily audible. Make sure you're fully aware of the body, the breath, your surroundings, outside space and sounds. And we're going to chant Om together 3 times to finish. If you want to just listen, you can. Otherwise, you can join in. Breathing in. Tat Sat. You may relax your positions, open the eyes, and be gentle with yourself. Carry on with your day. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.